My poor daughter has typhus. Ooh, wow, she does not look healthy. At all. Today I was given grave news. My daughter, Gerda, has befallen ill with typhus. The future is uncertain. Death lingers closely by her bedside. Yet she might survive. Only the Norns know. Also, we're at 95% victory. So typhus, I believe, is kind of bad, yo. And Bag, you are alright, but I'm going to say drastic measures. Disastrous mistreatment. It takes me a moment to recognize Gerda. She is so bruised and swollen, she barely looks human. As I grab her hand, my daughter attempts to speak, but no sound passes her lips. The squeamish physician is standing in the corner of the room, anxiously wringing his hands. This will not happen again. Do you understand? Disfigured and wounded. We knew the risks. And there's freaking typhus. I don't think she's going to survive that anyway. We tried. You can afford a lot more men-at-arms once you build buildings. There's money snowball effect. You can get a decent-sized domain, good development, and lots of buildings. Yeah, I kind of remember that from CK2. But I like the transition from the tribal to the feudal. I feel like it's a lot smoother in this than it was in CK2. In CK2, it was like a cliff edge. Although, admittedly, my own transition to feudal was not exactly plain sailing. Thanks to the bloody succession crisis. Like, it was just so badly timed. My gosh, that was bad. Alright, you're almost certainly going for Zealand again, but it is too late for you. I'll be taking Zealand. Greetings, cousin. May your years be short and miserable. You're a much greater foe than I'd imagined. In order to put an end to this bloodshed, I will comply with your demands. Of course you will. Alright, so Flanders would really not accept my offer of vassalage. Aww. In fact, I can just tell you to disband now, can't I? Yep. Alright, so, peacetime. Ugh. And I can hear again. Prisoners taken captive. Right, yes. Elfgar, you have 60 ducats. You're getting closer. Bodil, you're not going to be paid. And you already our religion? You are. You can just go. Actually, are you any good? No, you're definitely not good. Off you go. Cool. Invite champions. Don't want to do that. Go on a pilgrimage. Don't want to do that right now. I'll probably need to turn those notifications on again once I actually have some more resources under my belt, but right now I don't. Amsterdam. I would like to build some more buildings here. Probably farms and fields. Oh no, trade port, because that provides even more development. I can't be having Amsterdam without port. Come on. Alright, and now we're earning 4.3 ducats. That's great. And let's see. Brabant. How is Brabant doing? That would be a holy war. Which I probably don't have the piety for. I do have it for a duchy. Second question. To Minusko. Of which there are no others in this area. Oh man, Gardariki's under attack again. I saw Rurikovic, I was thinking, are you a Rurik? But you're not, you're a Vyach. Yeah, I think that Russia is lost. Might need to do some kind of Norse crusade in the future. I just don't like this because I am basically the cause of their downfall. Gardariki was having a pretty good game out there. Until I came in saying, you must embrace Ustaru instead of the evil old Ustaru. And they were like, oh. And then, blah. If you were larger, this would have been a massive cliff edge. All your tribal holdings get converted into castles with 0 upgrades. I didn't have any tribal holdings. I only had feudal. Can I show the development map mode? Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we're in a fairly wealthy area. Definitely the wealthiest bit here, here, here. Actually, India. Very wealthy. The north, not so much. Oh, and Iberia. Cordoba, Sevilla. And also around here, So-So, Orkar. Development 15. 30, 27, 25, 33, 38. 36. Wait, what was the 38? Rome. Rome at the moment's the biggest province in the world. 26, 28, 26. Mecca's a 25. (25, 26, 25, 24, 28, 26). So yeah, Rome is currently the wealthiest. And the areas around Rome are also doing quite nicely. But I'm hoping that we can build this up. Also, Groningen is actually the least wealthy in the Netherlands. So it's kind of a good thing that we moved out of Groningen. And in fact, what Jarldom are you part of? You are Utrecht. I was wondering if I wanted to give Groningen to my sister, but I don't think so. No. I'm just angry about Gardariki, but I really need to spend more time consolidating this area. I mean, we're still only 29. We're very young. How old are you? 9. You getting a... Yes, you are getting the intrigue education. Is it actually intrigue? It is actually intrigue. And then you are 0. And you are kind of beaten up. Kind of. Typha's balanced humours. She actually recovered. See? It worked! The medicine worked! Everything's fine. Don't know what you were complaining about. Money still. Oh yes, and you wanted to see the whole map, just the regular old map. There you go. That is the map as it stands, and Berengar is swayed. So next up, I think we'll go for Bohemond. Is Denmark still in wars? Yes. Yes, they are. Poland, Lithuanian Commonwealth. Poland ate Lithuania. You're not wrong, they did. Is that included? Yep. Poland, Bohemia, and Lithuania. Sir Marky, Taj Tomek, Dix In Me Moof, Eriweri, and G-Daddy, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Is France still a disaster? Yes. Although I'm actually wondering if I want to try and form an alliance with one of the stronger Ersteru factions, like Valois. See if I can elevate them. Or Berry. Berry would be a good one. So would Toulouse. Yeah, these guys have massive armies. A proposed alliance, it's an actual alliance. Are you saying I can only have one? Oh. You can only Diplo ally one person. I guess that's to stop you just grabbing everyone. Well, I think that Berry is probably in the slightly more dangerous position. Plus, I would kind of like them to make a move against West Francia. Didn't realize I only got the one. Hospitality. The more I study the noble art of statecraft, the more I realize how beneficial good relations with my neighbors are. I ought to have one of them visit my court, so I can show them just how good a friend I can be. But who shall I invite? So we can invite the King of Lotharingia, who's a filthy Catholic. We can invite Ingeborg of Oldenburg, who's a filthy Suamenko. Or we can invite Kugis of Lomzia, who's also a filthy Suamenko. Well, I would say probably Lotharingia. Definitely not Oldenburg, because I probably plan to go after Oldenburg. I have no real problems with Lotharingia at the moment. Possible outcome. Impressed, enjoys, disappointed. I don't really care what the outcome here is. I graciously thank you for this invitation for my court. My retinue and I will arrive in Frisia in a few weeks' time. Cool. Let's put on a feast! Except feasts are really expensive. There's no way I can afford that. A warm welcome. The perceptive King Ragnar is finally here. He will have a feast to welcome our foreign guests. My husband, Dyer, has been hard at work with all the planning and the preparation. He has asked me if there are any suggestions for final touches. I know a few specialities from Lotharingia. That's only 48% chance. It should be more extravagant, more of everything. We'll not risk any last-minute changes. I'll spend a bit of money. Actually, unless you are humble. You're generous. You probably appreciate generosity as well. More extravagant. Court progresses well. Good. An odd request. Your husband is a fine man, King Ragnar says, while ponderously swirling his cup of wine. His eyes are set on Dyer, who is seated further down the table. My dear Queen Freya, do you have permission to arrange a private audience with Lord Dyer? Nothing untoward, of course, just a simple dinner in my chambers. Your hair tray. Yeah, it should be fine. Of course, not a problem. I trust you. Don't know if I should, but I do. What's your diplomacy? It's not terrible. Should probably have checked that first. Hail, your divinity, Mordred. Truly, you have been blessed by Odin, but I fear to request to name Tyr to Tyr has fallen on deaf ears. Tyr to Tyr. Very good, I like it. Connor Merlinuik, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Oh, I just misread it, that's all. Raiding party! Hey, Midgeman! Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome to the stream. Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? How's your game going? How is the Lion of Robert the Fox? Are they prospering? fact, what are my councillors doing at the moment? You are developing, you are talking, you are increasing. Why is conversion available? Oh, because Zeeland is not converted. My holy site is not converted? That is unacceptable. During our walk through the gardens, King Ragnarad and I have paused to admire the view. The proportions, the colours. I've seen few things as beautiful as this, like Queen Freya, he says, and gestures the sight before us. I feel as if I ought to say something kind in turn, perhaps something about his warmth and kindness. Relentless courage, searing ambition, or clear rationality. Warmth and kindness. He is generous after all. Well received. Ramsword wants me to drink some tea, and Atarax, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Midge was playing as the Hortfields, yeah. Robert the Fox down in Sicily. Can I build any buildings? Not at the moment, I don't have the money for it. But we are building something. We're currently building a small harbour in Amsterdam. A humble start for the mighty trade empire that will be the Netherlands. Are we still tribal? No, we're feudal, at last. After what I can only be described as a thoroughly pleasant visit, King Ragnarad and his retinue is about to depart for Lotharingia. Before the king steps into his carriage, he bows deeply to you and expresses his gratitude to me for his most implacable husband. I promise to forward his compliments. Oh, for my husband, right? Closer to forming a friendship, we gain a free Diplo lifestyle. Awesome. And Ragnarad, wow, really likes us now. We're friends. Okay, cool. So we're now friends with the filthy Catholics. Shorter truces, no prestige penalty. Considering I am planning some fairly rapid expansion, that would be better. Because I really want to go and integrate Flanders into my realm. So we still have a truce. Now, are you actually going to tell me how long my truce is? No, you are still hiding that. Why are you hiding truces from me? Maybe it's on my own character? Maybe it's on the instigator as opposed to the receiver? Ah! Okay. 4 more years. Any more issues? Oh, we don't have the Earldom of Holland. Still can't afford your ransom. Yes, I would love to usurp that. Cost 250? Ugh. I think I'd rather be spending the 250 on buildings. Hey, Lambert, thank you very much for the raid. Wow, this is just a series of raids here. I love it. Thank you very much for the raid. How are you guys doing? How's your game going? I'm trying to remember who you were playing as, but I've completely forgotten. I'm guessing someone in England. Alfred? So why can't I raid anymore? Because we're feudal, we're not tribal. You got invaded and died. Oof. Thank you very much for the raid, said No Lord, around 1000 AD ever. Died as Hastings' son, gotcha. I mean, we had a really close call, so we started out... For those of you just joining us, I'll give you the story, because a lot has happened in this playthrough. We are currently in 1045. This is the 867 start, so we've been going for a while now. So we started out as the County of Gotland, this tiny little island here. It's just a one-province minor count. We went and expanded down into Holland. We took over the Earldom of Holland, and then eventually also the Earldom of Flanders, and basically took the Netherlands. founded the Kingdom of Frisia. When we founded the Kingdom of Frisia, we also reformed our faith into Ersteru. So this is the reformed version of the Norse faith. We chose Unrelenting Faith, which is going to give extra prowess to all members of our faith, and then also Faith Hostility Advantage, which basically just means that my champions are killer. Legalism, because all of my early rulers were just, and I thought that this just made sense. This basically means that rulers who have a high virtue will have an easier time ruling the realm, and rulers with lots of sins will have a harder time ruling the realm. And then we've also got ritual celebrations, because the Vikings like to party, and this means that we get piety for having feasts, and also just generally increases the opinion. We also changed our gender laws to equal, so that we can have shield maidens, so female commanders and knights, because we have been emphasizing that quite a bit. From there, we then... trying to remember exactly what happened. Expanded out. We took out most of Flanders. We took Brabant. We took this bit of Denmark. We had a bit of that Lotharingia. We had Oldenburg. And we had a really nice realm here. Then I had a series of absolute catastrophes, and I went from ruling this to ruling this one tiny province in the north of Russia. It was a terrible, terrible time. But that guy was also the heir to Gardariki, Sweden, and Frisia. We inherited all three of them. So we went from a one-county, forgotten count somewhere in the dark realms of Russia, which itself was really annoying, because this was just 4 months away from when I went feudal. So from like having part of the wealthiest area of Europe and being so close to going feudal and just exploding in terms of economy, especially because I had over 1,000 ducats saved up, to backwaters of Russia with nothing going for me. It was a bit of a blow. But we inherited all three. We set our children to inherit a kingdom each, and we basically set Frisia as our primary title once more, and continued playing as Frisia, which means, and this is the cool bit, oh, Svati. Oh no, yeah, that's us. So, Mordling Vyangi, that's us. Mordling, that's the original dynasty. Svati is a cadet. Horn is a cadet. And I think there might be another one. Oh no, we've got Mordlings down here as well. So there are a lot of Mordling dynasts around. We actually control 5 separate crowns at the moment. Although we may have just lost Estonia, actually. But we had, a couple of minutes ago, Estonia, Denmark, Sweden, Frisia, and Gardariki as kings. So our house is just rolling in renown at the moment. We are super, 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 super well known. And this is doing some nice stuff for our legacies. So the first legacy was the one that I could choose, and because we were this super legalistic, just realm, and this was just after we chose legalism for the Reformed Faith, we went down the law tray. Then I lost control of the dynasty, and since then the AI has just been going further and further down law. So that is how the legacy is looking at the moment. So it's been a tumultuous game so far. And yes, we are Norse culture, so one of the few things that we did mod is there is a absolutely horrific event which pops up, which starts turning all of the Norse nations into non-Norse. So that's when Swedish appears, that's when Norwegian appears, that's when Danish appears. And really weirdly, even though we were completely in the Netherlands, we became Swedish. So I modded that event so you could say no. So we are still Norse. There's a couple up here in Ireland which stayed Norse in England anyway. They weren't affected by that event. And then Sweden, Norway, and Denmark did switch, although we still have a couple of Norse outposts, as you can see. And we tried to start converting Gardariki when we controlled it, but we've since lost it. And there is a massive Jewish horde coming over. Cabarite is Jewish. And they're causing me no ends of headaches up here in Norse Russia. We still got an old outpost of Old Ersteru. That was the original Gardariki, which I conquered to try and convert them. And since that, they've been nowhere near stable. The other great story that we have from this playthrough is France. You will notice that France has had a few problems. I was the instigator of those problems, and it's one of my proudest achievements. So, for probably about 100 years, France controlled the entirety of France and also northern Italy. They were Catholic, they were very solid, impossible to raid. They always had like 7,000 soldiers, you just couldn't get near them. But my ally took Suffolk, and then there was a holy war which West Francia joined to retake Suffolk, and because they basically had to land there, otherwise get the ticking war score, I was able to beat them in a series of amphibious battles and repulse them, and we won the war. And as part of that, we captured the King of France, and the look of absolute glee on your face you talk about the France instance, diabolical. Well, it's a moment of genius, diabolical genius. So we captured the King of France and released him in exchange for his conversion. So we suddenly had an Ersteru King of West Francia. We immediately went to war with them because I wanted Flanders. I didn't own Flanders at this time. And while we were fighting them, the Pope called the First Crusade against West Francia. So France had a crusade up against them. They had me fighting against them. And this is one of the times when I actually had really solid armies. And since then, it's been a bit of a mess. So they've been Waldesian for a while, they've been Ersteru for a while, they were Catholic for a while, they were even Tuamenko for a while. Clearly Orthodox got up here somehow for a while. Yeah, their last king was Tuamenko. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And now it looks like they are primarily back. Well, West Francia is... Nope, they're still Tuamenko. So their Toulouse is Ersteru, Berry is Ersteru. A couple of these little guys up here are Ersteru. West Francia is Suamensko. There are a couple of Catholic holdouts kind of on the peripheries. Yeah, it's been an interesting game. Oh, but I did just notice that it looks like Iberia is going to fall soon. So I might need to do something about that. We haven't, like, my goal for this playthrough, and it's called March of the Vikings, because I wanted to get to India or to Burma. That was the ultimate goal. Considering we started here, and it's been 200 years and we've made it here, that might have been a bit ambitious. I managed it in CK2, but I haven't done it in CK3 yet. £5. If you listen closely, you can hear the Habsburgs laughing at you. Well, if the Habsburgs listen closely, they can hear me laughing at them, because this is all in 1045. Our dynasty head at the moment is Denmark. Previously it was Sweden. And when I had my massive problems, when we died as the King of Frisia, ended up inheriting Gardariki instead of Frisia, somebody else took it, Sweden immediately declared war on me and subjugated us, which is what reduced me to my one county problems. But then the Queen of Sweden was... I was the heir of the Queen of Sweden, because she was my aunt, I think, and I was elected. And then when I took Sweden, I got Gardariki, Sweden, and Frisia all at the same time, and then we switched over to Frisia, basically, after that. And we've actually got a really good queen. I quite like Queen Freya. She's doing good. She has managed to claw back quite a lot, considering it was her father who was down to that one county. Though he did die as the king of all of Sweden. As in Sweden. As in all of this Sweden. So it was fun. I must say, Bordeaux, France is a thing of beauty, and it should be framed and put on a wall in your home with the caption of, I did that. What's the current succession law? What's the current succession law? Confederation Gallokind. It's the Swedish one. Swedish, whatever it's called. Scandinavian elective. Equal Scandinavian elective. That's what it is.